the last week, it's going to be a test. Yeah. So it's a kind of a midterm, but I don't want you to have that very pressure, and I'm not calling it midterm. But about the format, there are not that many questions. Half of the test consists of multiple choice tasks, and the other half is about open-ended questions where you have to share your opinion, not just your opinion, but but your opinion based on the research that you have done during the course. So as you remember, I have asked you, yeah, I'm always asking you to read the books, the requirement list of literature that I uploaded to the Moodle, especially the book by Mr. Halliday, Michael Halliday, and Colin Yallop. So some questions, the open-ended questions, will be asking you to refer to the literature that you probably read or not, depending on you yourselves. Yeah, is that clear enough? Any questions regarding today's test? This week's test, sorry. Nope, nothing. Right. Okay, so let us then start. I started the recording, yeah, for the tomorrow's group of students. Okay, so today actually we are going to talk about idioms, yeah, and proverbs actually, because both of them are quite crucial in the development of students' vocabulary. Yeah, so that would be lovely. Yeah. Okay, good. Right, all is done. I'm going to turn on the slide. Okay. So I hope you can see the lecture itself, the PPT. So right, so as I have mentioned, we are going to talk about phraseology, phraseological units, or native speakers call them idioms, yeah, and the word groups, including the proverbs. Okay, right. So the content is about idioms and their characteristics, and the proverbs and their classification, how they are were classified by the Professor Kunin and Ms. Cholanova. She is the lecturer at one of the Ukrainian universities. Okay, good. So what is a phraseological unit actually? So a phraseological unit usually represents some expressive part of the vocabulary. It's more about culture, more about what nation and people have let's say gathered throughout the development of their culture and vocabulary and their language. So they can be very interesting to analyze, to be honest. Phraseological units, they can be very let's say interesting from the point of stylistic analysis. When we will be working with the texts, we will be analyzing some metaphors and including idioms. Yeah. So right, as we see, we have here some examples on the left side for idioms or phraseological units. Yeah, and that would be lovely, guys, if you tell me what like, let's discuss the meaning of those phraseological units. So what is the dark horse? When do we use that very idiom in our speech, in English speech? What does it mean?
Maybe a
Dark horse.
creepy situation.
Creepy. Okay. Yeah. Any other?
The silent but the successful one in the group.
Yeah. Dark horse. What other suggestions? Any other suggestions? Sorry. Dark horse. Yeah, we actually have that very idiom in our native languages as well, right? In Kazakh and Russian, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Anyone else who would like to share? No. Okay. What about the next one about the green eyes monster? The very interesting one, I think.
Jealous person?
Jealous person, yeah. So jealousy is usually called the green eyes monster. Okay, and a piece of cake, something that is
Really
quite
easy.
widespread.
Really
Something
easy.
really easy, yeah. Oh wow, yeah, well done. Easy thing. And the last straw in the patience. What is the last straw of our patience?
Is it something like последняя капля? No, like
Yeah, something like the last thing. Usually it's
maybe like it's like a series
yeah.
of bad things that make people very upset, angry, disappointed. Like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Something about patience in our emotions, yeah, as Laura has mentioned. Well, thank you very much, guys and girls. So, as I have mentioned before, mainly the phraseological units or idioms about customs, about traditions, about the prejudice, beliefs of the culture that is the target culture, as we call it. Right? Okay, so right, next one. So actually, that is a lovely definition given by Halliday and Yellow. So idiom is a fixed expression. So, and in that very fixed expression, meaning cannot be derived, cannot be concluded from the function of a particular part of the idiom. For instance, you will in the very one of the idioms, kick someone upstairs. It has the following meaning, as you see: move someone to what seems to be a more important post, but with the motive of removing them from their current post. So you can't really get you can't find out the real meaning by the direct translation of it or direct meaning of it, and you will not be able to conclude the function of the different parts. You cannot picture the whole meaning, the real whole meaning of the idiom or the phraseological unit just by looking at the different parts of them. Yeah, you will not be able to guess what it may mean, as well as the same as with the example, kick someone upstairs. Right. Does anybody know any idioms that has that very difficult meaning that you cannot guess without analyzing and looking at its background? No. All right. Okay, okay. So actually, phraseological units or idioms, as we call the Western scholars call it, they have some characteristic features. Okay, so first of all, idioms may have complete or partially transferred meaning. Remember, we talked about the transfer of meaning in the previous lecture. So sometimes the meaning can have cannot be perceived, and you cannot, like, okay, the idiom is a word group, right? You have the words in it. It's like the collocation, and sometimes the part of the collocation may have transferred meaning. as we call it in Russian, if I'm not mistaken, переносных смысл. Yeah, is that it? Transferred meaning. If you could help me, those who know the grammar of English, the lexicology of or Russian, sorry. So, and sometimes the whole idiom, the whole word group experience the transferred meaning depending on the situation, depending on the choices of the speaker. Idiom may have such features. Yeah. And yeah, and the very interesting thing, the very interesting moment about the idiom is that it has dual meaning always. The first one is the current meaning. It is when the current meaning, it creates a specific picture. So each constituent terms of the idiom create a specific picture that we can imagine in our heads as we did with as we talked about it during the revision of de Saussure's theory, remember? Yeah, who does remember about de Saussure's theory, where we have that specific picture in our heads and the meaning that we provide to that very thing?
Yeah, but like signifier and signified.
Absolutely, yeah. So we have signifier and signified for the idioms. So the current meaning can be considered as a signifier, sorry. And the signified is the true meaning. So it's like it has nothing to do with the signifier, any kind of it. It has a new image. It has new understanding. It has new semantical feature. Yeah, as with the example, kick someone upstairs. So upstairs has nothing, any kind of relationships with the position, right? At work position or any kind of position in society. But for some reasons, for some reasons, the native speakers, decided to associate the stairs and upstairs with the position for some reasons, kind of a position or the post, a higher post. So it's it's interesting, isn't it? So as you see, and one feature, very interesting feature, probably remember, you may remember the theory by Saphir and Worf, where Saphir and Worf discussed the theory of relativism. It's about cultural background of people and how that culture and mentality influences the language. It's the same thing. By analyzing idioms and looking at the idioms, you can easily find out what is happening in the culture. What is the culture? What is the shape of the culture? What are the beliefs? And what are the some kind of customs of the culture or of the nation, sorry. So that is very valuable thing. And idioms actually help us to adapt to the culture when you are dwelling in the target land. Imagine when you go to, some of you are planning, yeah, to go up to one of the universities in English-speaking countries. So actually analyzing idioms, thinking of why some meanings and appearing in that very way may help you to understand and develop that very intercultural competence, intercultural awareness, let's say cultural awareness, sorry. So this is an analysis of idioms and what kind of beliefs and customs are hiding behind them. Can be very very useful for you in a very practical way, in a pragmatic way. Yeah. And also why we are looking at phraseological units in that very course of lexicology and stylistics.
Вроде нет, не знаю.
Sorry.
Сен қабарасың ба?
Shahzada, could you please turn off the audio of yours? Sorry, the microphone, no audio. Okay, thank you.
My bad, sorry.
And no, it's okay. All right. So why we are looking at idioms at that very course, because it will help you to enhance your cultural background. And as we know, language and culture are tightly connected. They are tightly rooted with each other. If you do understand the culture, you will, of course, acquire the language easier through the associations, the cultural associations, cultural awareness. And actually, you can have a look at the publications on cultural awareness. And I believe that you have cultural studies of the target language, yeah. And at school, we also had that very subject. If I'm not mistaken, it is called Yeltanu or Stranovedение in Russian. During our classes of English, we looked at some peculiarities of the target culture and target land. That is how it actually works. But in that very sense, we are looking at the depths of the language. We're not looking at the geography and all that stuff, but we are looking at the depths of it. Right, okay. So any kind of a change that is happening in the whether it is grammatical or syntactical change in the word group or in the phraseological units or idiom, it may somehow influence and it may somehow affect the whole word group. Or it can also change the meaning itself. So if you do some kind of changes, apply some kind of changes into the idiom, it may, of course, affect only the separate components of the idiom, but quite often it affects the whole meaning of the word group. So when you do any kind of a change into this, whether it is syntactic or grammatical change into the idiom, please be careful, right? We know that we can use idioms in different manner. We can apply them in different grammatical and pragmatic situations, but you really have to be careful with idioms because you have to know where to use them properly and not. So that would be lovely if you consult the pragmatics of English language, and that very science will tell you when it is appropriate to use some idioms and when it's not, because you may find out that some idioms of English language have the same equivalence in Kazakh or Russian, and we can use them in the same situations that we do use them in our own languages. But that is the tricky thing. You really have to consult the context. Yeah, if you learn the phraseological units in the context, it will be easier for you. It will be not easier. It will be more. You will be more confident when you will be using it. Yeah. Okay. As actually it has some connection to the James Firth's theory of contextual meaning. Yeah. As you may remember, if you do learn something, if you do study and learn by heart something, please try to do it in the context. Yeah. Right, okay. So, as I have mentioned, the meaning can be changed completely or it can be changed partially. Means that depending on the word, depending on the type of the idiom, some idioms may have the complete change of meaning, and some of them may have the change in the separate components. Yeah, so that would be lovely if we guys work together and find out the complete change of the meaning in that very group of idioms that were prepared for you. Okay, to skate on thin ice. So what is the meaning, real meaning hiding under this very idiom? Can anybody help me with that? To skate on thin ice.
Meaning that it's very dangerous, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
You are in a risky situation.
When you're in a risky situation, absolutely. And so if you have a look at the to skate on thin ice, do you see any, what is the meaning? Do the word skate, thin ice reflect the real meaning of the idiom, or they have absolutely complete transferred meaning here?
Complete transferred meaning.
Why do you think so, Gulbahar?
Because to skate on thin ice, there is like no correlation between this type of words and someone being in a risky situation.
Absolutely, yeah. So there is no correlation, the direct correlation between the direct meaning, the signifier and signified, let's say. Yeah. Okay, the next one, to lose one's temper. So what does it mean initially? What is
Become so
hiding?
angry.
It's to become angry during a quarrel.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for your answers. To be angry, to have strong negative, let's call them negative emotion. Yeah. Okay. Do you see here any complete change or in the meaning in comparison with the direct meaning?
It's partially transferred meaning, right?
Yeah, well done. Thank you, Gulbahar. And can you do analysis of it, guys and girls? Why is it partially, in your opinion?
Because temper is related to the mood, maybe.
Temper is related to the mood, absolutely. To that very, it is from that very field, yeah, the field of emotions, the emotional apparatus that we have in our brains. Yeah, absolutely. And to lose, actually, can we lose our temper in a direct thing? No, we can't, right? So to lose, the word to lose, undergone a transferred, undergone a transferred changes in a meaning. So it was applied, it got applied, it got the application of transferred meaning. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, what about to fall in love? That's a very beautiful one, I think. Yeah, to fall in love. What about that? Was it changed completely or not?
Partially transferred meaning.
Thank you, Gulbahar. Thank you for your active participation today. So why is it?
again, like love is something general. I mean, And whereas like to fall in love, is it like possible to fall in it?
All right, yeah, great, thank you, Laura. Okay, yeah. To arrive at a conclusion. Well, to arrive at a conclusion. What about that one? Yep. What
So?
To make a
what do they
decision
mean?
after you have thought about something for a long time.
Thank you, Nastya. And completely or partially?
Partially.
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 Yeah. And which word did not get transferred meaning here?
Conclusion.
Conclusion, absolutely. Yeah. And okay, the last one, wolf in sheep's skin.
Someone is complete.
Transferred meaning.
Complete, yeah. So, and what does it mean actually? What does this idiom mean? A wolf in sheep's skin.
Means
Like
that
someone,
one person who seems to be kind but actually has some bad intentions.
Thank you, Sultanat.
Yeah.
Laura and Hadija, you wanted to say something? Okay, let's give lead to Laura.
The same actually, like, I mean, this is the one that actually played the role, which is contrary to his real character.
All right, and Hadija, thank you, Laura.
I just want to say like it's like faking or pretending to be someone you're not, something like that.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for your answers. Yeah, really. And both wolf and sheep and skin may not have that very direct connection to the original meaning of that very idiom, right? Like not original, sorry, derived meaning. So that is very interesting, as you see. So what are the idioms? Actually, idioms are the ones usually Russian linguists and Soviet School of Linguistics consider that idioms are called those phraseological units which undergone complete transferred meaning are called idioms, and the other ones that were changed partially or not changed that much, yeah, they are called just phraseological units. And that is the oh god, I'm having a B here. So that is actually the difference between them. So even though that's very interesting that Western scholars refer to they refer as idioms to all the phraseological units, all the word groups that have that transferred meaning. That is very strange thing, I guess, in my opinion. I don't know. The Soviet school was more like they went deep into the classification of them, but really we're not going to look at it. So we just looked at we're going to look at the work of Wolf. He looked at, in that very work, he looked at the idioms and their grammatical as well as semantical value. And you can actually have a look at that very work. I will attach it on the Moodle. I will upload it to the Moodle, sorry. So Wolf mentioned that idioms, they are not a collection of fixed words. They're not just collocations, but they are the groups of words that can be changed lexically and syntactically. Yeah? So we can apply, sorry, we can, so, oh God, we can apply any kind of, oh my God, sorry, really, the bees are flying here. We can apply lexical and syntactical changes to the idioms and find out the new meaning. We can derive new meanings by making some changes into that. Okay, let's have a look at that. One of the examples. So walk a tightrope. So what does it mean, walk a tightrope, without the word legal? Initially, what is a walk a tightrope? Mhm. I believe that you experienced working with that very idiom. Walk a tightrope.
Probably it means like making a difficult decision in a situation when you don't know what to choose or what to do. Walk a tightrope is like direct meaning is just walk a tightrope, but if we add legal, it will become an idiom.
It's like being in a situation where the mistake can be dangerous. I mean, making the mistake can be dangerous.
Mhm.
Like a sailing on thin ice, right?
Mhm. Yeah. So it's not really about a risk. Yeah, it's about a risk, some kind of a risk. But it's so if we just refer to the Dictionary of Cambridge, it says that if you walk a tightrope, you have to deal with a difficult situation. So especially in the very situations where you have to, where you are involved in making some kind of a decisions, when you are between two evils. Yeah, so it's a walk a tightrope. It's not about a risk, but it's about decisions. Yeah, so without a word legal, it has one meaning, a separate meaning. But if we add a word legal, yeah, we are changing, we are putting, we are adding an adjective, like, oh God, again, sorry. We are adding an adjective before the noun tightrope, and the meaning of the very idiom is changing completely. It has some, it is undergone, it may have undergone a semantical change in that very sense, not only syntactical or grammatical, but semantical change. So walk a legal tightrope. Can you guys guess how can the semantical characteristic may change in that very way? What does it mean, in your opinions, walk a legal tightrope?
Like deal with something difficult.
Yep, it's about a walking a tightrope. But what about walk a legal tightrope?
It's a legal dangerous situation where you are required to make a decision with care and with a careful decision.
Mhm.
No?
Yep, so it's about the careful decision, yet legal, it's more, it has the different thing. So the word legal itself, it is adding the different meaning. So you are now talking about the general meaning. So when you say walk a legal tightrope, means that you have to walk towards the lawful road, even though you are having struggles in decisions, and you have to do something with it. You have to decide on one of the options. So it is kind of a idiom that is directing you towards the lawful way of dealing with things. Yeah, lawful decisions. For instance, the sentence, as wellness programs and employee surcharges multiply, employers are acutely aware of the legal tightrope they must walk. So here it means that they have to be dealing with the law according to, with the things with according to the law. So the meaning is changed here. So let me switch to Kazakh for a second, if some of you do not understand. Жай ғана walk a tightrope десек, ол біздер деген бір қандай да бір шешімді қабылдау, екі нәрсенің ортасында тұрып шешім қабылдау туралы болады. Ал walk a legal tightrope ол заңға бағынып шешім қабылдау дегенді білдіреді. Legal сөзі қосылғаннан кейін бізде specific direction пайда болады. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Marjan. I hope Kazakh, the explanation in Kazakh can be helpful for you. Right, okay, so now we are going to talk about the proverbs. So what is the proverb for you guys? When do we use proverbs? What are the proverbs? Do you like proverbs? Why do we use proverbs in your opinion? So, okay, so as we know, the proverbs, it's a statement usually, usually in imperative. That is the statement in imperative sentence, yeah. So actually proverbs, they state some kind of a fact, and those facts are usually grounded on some kind of wisdom of the community, or wisdom of the nation, and they are based on the human experience mainly. Yeah. So proverbs, there are a lot of differences between the proverbs and phraseological units that we are going to discuss later. Yeah. So if the idiomatic expressions, or as we call them, phraseological units, is about the meaning or the background of one little group, yeah, or of the background of one particular person. Proverbs are based on collective experience of the nation, of the community, yeah, and usually they are used in order to moralize, in order to direct in wisdom, yeah, in order to give some kind of a warning, or what to do and what not to do, yeah. And actually they are providing us some kind of advice of what we should do in our lives. So can anybody remember any proverbs in English? What is your favorite proverb? Okay. What is your favorite proverb in English?
That's one that comes from the school. An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's it.
It's better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, good.
Don't judge book by its cover, right? I mean, not judging people by their appearance.
Well done. Yeah, good.
Better late than never.
Better than ever. So we
There is
actually
no place like home.
there is no place. Oh,
is not gold.
yeah. The
Is to wear
ones, thank you.
home vest, like that.
Yeah.
sight,
The ones.
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. Shirida says honesty is the best policy. Yeah. So actions speak louder than words. Oh, my favorite one. My favorite one. So the proverbs are very, as I have noticed, you love proverbs, right? And we are actually living in the culture, in the community where proverbs are highly appreciated. Yeah. So the thing that I will not, I don't know, when living in the UK, I didn't notice that British people use proverbs that much as we do in our society. they are more inclined to idioms and metaphors. That's the reason they are making a lot of research into the usage of metaphors and idioms. Well, proverbs are very interesting things actually, and they have different structures according to the Professor Kunin and Professor Chulanova. Actually, they can have they can be of very different types. Yeah. So, for instance, imperative and negative form. Do not beat a dead horse. Yeah. It's like nakl sözdir in Kazakh, where we just say, do not do that, and do not do that, and do that, and do that. But in English, they are all proverbs. Yeah. And imperative positive, look before you leap. Yeah. Do you guys remember what before you leave? Mhm. Right.
Maybe think before you make a decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's it. Mhm. Okay. And we have the parallel phrases. When the phrases used in when we use the parallel phrases in the proverbs, and we're just making up the proverb out of it. Yeah. Okay, and rhetorical questions like, is the Pope Catholic? So, do you guys remember what does this very proverb mean? Hmm? Yeah. So it's like a saying, let's say, so a very colloquial one. Mhm. So actually, this very proverb that is provided in form of rhetorical question, it's not really a proverb, but it's mostly a saying. So when someone asks you, is the Pope Catholic, it means that that person is referring you, not referring for, let's say, somehow softly forcing you to say yes. That is mostly about getting the affirmative answer from you. Okay. Right, and declarative sentences. We also may find the proverbs in English in a form of declarative sentences. Okay. Right. So, for example, birds of a feather flock together. Mm-hmm. So, what does this thing mean? What does this very proverb mean?
Like, for example, in friendship, like you can have the same characteristics or you can have the behave in similar ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It means that the people who are similar to each other, who have similar tastes, they are usually coming together. Yeah. Right. Okay. Oh, what about that very one? Garbage in and garbage out. I think this one is very popular. In the equivalent of it is very popular in our culture. Mhm. Yeah. So, what does it mean? What may it mean? So it's usually it has an abbreviation in English, GRGO, garbage in and garbage out. It means that something that comes is of a poor quality that when it goes out, it is not changing its characteristics, its features, its quality. So it is just garbage itself in its essence. Yeah. Right. So and if I'm not mistaken, garbage in and garbage out is, or GIGO, is used in coding, among the IT specialists. It is a quite a widespread and popular expression. Okay, right. So very interesting thing that even though phraseological units are and proverbs are extremely different things in both grammatical and semantic features, phraseological units can and they usually do emerge from proverbs. That's very interesting. Um, uh, that's a very interesting process that is happening in the development of the language. For instance, we do have that very proverb, birds of a feather flock together, right? And the very interesting thing that the idiom or phraseological unit, birds of a feather, emerge from that very proverb. Yeah, so we can actually develop the language by deriving some words. It's like a back formation. Yeah, that happened. That is happening in the word derivation of the new words. Okay, so guys, the question for you: have you ever noticed, or do you know any idioms or phraseological units that uh, that were created or derived from the back formation, that derived from proverbs? Do you know any of them? No? Okay, so that would be lovely if you do a research on that. Yeah, this is a task for you for the next seminar, and find out 3 examples of the phraseological units or of the idioms that derive from proverbs. Okay, so, and we also have some kind of a, now we are going to just come back to idioms or phraseological units, and we have the classifications of them. Yeah, oh sorry, we are having only 3 minutes. Okay, so anyway, let's just start. So actually, according to the semantical features, we have fusions, half fusions, unities, half unities, phraseological collocations, and phraseological expressions. So you may ask, what is the difference between them? So, so actually, fusions are completely non-motivated idiomatic word groups. What it means, like they were let's say fused. They were taken from different word groups, like a fusion. You know, we do use the word fusion, where different the components from the different spheres were fused together. Yeah, that is what about it is about what that thing. Yeah, and half fusions, these are the stable word groups, and in that very word group, usually the leading component is literal, so the meaning is literal, and the rest of the group is idiomatically fused. For instance, to buy something for a song. So what does this thing mean? What does this idiom may mean, guys? To buy something for a song. Anybody have any idea? Have you ever looked at this one? So actually here, it is a half fusion because the word to buy or to buy something, it kept its literal meaning. It is like buying. But for a song, the song has the transferred meaning, and the song refers to little money. So it means if you use the word, if you use the idiom to buy something for a song, it means that you are buying something for a little money. The money that is not enough, yeah, for that very product or the service. Okay, and unities, yeah, unities. They are again metaphorically motivated idioms, yeah, and for instance here, to play second fiddle. So it is the type of the phraseological unit where that is based on the metaphors. A very interesting thing. So you have here the complete transferred meaning. Yeah. So right. So I think it is time. That would be lovely if you have time during the break, 10-minute break, if you could look at the idiom a snake in the grass and find out what it may mean, guys. Okay, so we are having a 10-minute break. That would be lovely. You can, that is lovely that we have that one. Have a lovely 10 minutes and see you at 11 o'clock. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, guys. Welcome back. Hope you're doing fine. So Aidana asked about the quiz, about the test. Is Aidana here? Hello, Aidana?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay. So, right, about the test, the format is going to be blended, as I have mentioned last week. So it's going to be a combination of multiple choice tasks and the open-ended questions. So multiple choice tasks are quite, you will be quite familiar with them, because I didn't make any big deal out of them. The questions are quite okay with the multiple choice tasks, whereas the open-ended questions will require you to demonstrate all of your knowledge that you accumulated during the course. So you have to include theoretical knowledge that you have acquired, the knowledge on research, the knowledge on the basic knowledge, the basic understanding, and also you have to you will have to provide your own opinion. So actually, I will provide you with the rubrics, and you will find out what you have to do there. First 5 minutes, you will be dealing with understanding and with comprehending the rubrics, and then we will just we will just be looking at the tasks, at the questions. So the test is not going to be difficult. It's not difficult. I don't know whether it's going to be anyhow difficult or sorry for that, or struggling for you, but challenging for you. However, it's not too long, you know. There are not 30, 40 and 50 questions only. If I'm not mistaken, there are 6 or 7 questions only. But I will not be looking at the multiple choice tasks. I will be doing the qualitative assessment of your open-ended answers. Sorry, your answers on open-ended questions. So please be careful with that. So what I would like to let you know that you should be basing your opinion on the researchers' works. So you have to tell, okay, Halliday said that and Yallop said that, whereas I forgot, Chomsky claimed that and this one claimed that. So the reason why I asked you at the previous at the seminars of the previous week to discuss, to explain and to understand the theories is because you should be able to explain it in your test, yeah, during fulfilling the open-ended questions. So that is crucial. Please do read the books, the required literature, especially the holidays book. And what you have to do, you have to express your opinion freely. And of course, we will be looking at the rubrics and requirements more deeper at the seminar classes. But for now, this is it actually. You can have a look at it. Okay, I hope you do not have any questions regarding the quiz or test, as you say. Yeah. Do you have any?
I'm sorry, teacher. Can I ask one question quickly? It's just
sure. Yeah.
Is it 6, 7 questions included the multiple choice, or 6, 7 questions of open ended, and then like 6, 7 questions of multiple choice? That's where I'm confused a little bit.
Overall, 6 or 7
Overall.
questions.
Okay,
or
thank you.
10 questions, I don't remember, but no more than 10 questions. I'm not going to violate and torture your brains. I don't want to make it. Yeah, because I would like to save some time for the discussion of the seminar classes. At least 15 minutes should be left for discussion. Yeah. Okay, right, got it. What we're doing. Oops, sorry. So we are now talking about the classification, semantic classification of idioms. Let's say idioms, because this is actually a whether we should call idioms phraseological units or just idioms, it's up to you. Yeah, because Russian scholars or Soviet scholars, post-Soviet scholars, and Western scholars, they are making huge debate on that very topic. So they do not. Okay, they did not come to one decision, one final decision, whether we are calling them idioms or phraseological units. But according to the post-Soviet school of lexicology, of linguistics, idioms are these are the part, let's say, subgroup of phraseological units that have complete transferred meaning, complete change in its meaning. So that's what you should remember. But in the Western scholar, it is a bit blurred. You can't really say what they mean it by idiom, but they just refer as idiom to all the phraseological units. Yeah, that should be clear for you, but not proverbs. Proverbs are the different things. Different thing. It's a отдельная тема. Let's say it like that. Okay, good. So about the semantic classification, as previously has been mentioned. So fusions, they are complete non-motivated word groups where the whole words in word components of the idiom change the meaning. Like once in a blue moon, you will never understand what it actually means by the direct translation, right? Yeah, once in a blue moon. Oh God, that is the reason it's a fusion. It's called fusion. Came from one field and from another field, and they just let's say blended and became a fusion, became a one morphological unit. And the white elephant, do you guys know what is a white elephant? What does it refer to? Anyone? Is it like an idiom? Yeah. Okay. So imagine this is, it is a funny idiom, I think. I don't know why they chose that very word combination for that very fusion yet. So imagine you are a student, right? And your income, I guess, is no more than 100,000. Yeah, probably some of you have that very income, but mostly students do not have that much income. It's just my experience. I don't know. I'm just evaluating and making conclusions from my own experience, subjective experience. And but you get an expensive car and as a present from your, let's say, friends or from your siblings, and it's very expensive, and the maintenance and the, let's say, so you have to spend a lot of money in order to serve that car, in order to have that car, in order to use that car. Imagine it's a Ferrari. Yeah. So the interesting thing that this present is very expensive for you. It is very nice one, and it costs a lot of money. But the problem is that it has no useful purpose at that very situation, at that very time for you. So you could be, as a student, you could be content with a, for instance, Toyota Camry, right? But you got Ferrari. So you cannot afford serving that car for paying for the maintenance, paying for the fuel. So it's too expensive for you. So this is the meaning of a white elephant. Yeah. So when you get some kind of present, it's too expensive.
Something useless, and that brings you a lot of troubles, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Laura. And yet it is so expensive. So it something that you cannot afford having. Yes, quite often we do get such kind of presents sometimes, and however, it can be quite problematic for us to use it. So it has no real value for us ourselves. This is the white elephant. So elephant, it means like it's white because it's nice, it's costly. However, elephant because it's huge, yeah, and you can't do anything with the elephant. Yeah, or imagine someone give you a present, and the present will be a zebra. So what will you do with a zebra? So it's very costly, but it's useless, right? So that very analogy, quite interesting thing. So it's fusion because it has absolutely no the meaning of the idiom, sorry, the second meaning of the not the direct meaning, but the transferred meaning of the idiom has no connection to the direct meaning. So this is the fusion and half fusion when there is half. Some one part is has some feasible logical connection, correlation as you call it, to the direct meaning, and the second one doesn't have. And the unities, as I have mentioned, they are based on metaphor. They are metaphorically motivated. So for instance, to make a mountain of a molehill, yeah, or a snake in the grass. So these are the phraseological units or idioms that have the metaphorical feature. For instance, to make a mountain out of a molehill. So the mountain is something huge, right? And we are applying the problems or huge things. I don't even know how it is explained in your languages, in our native languages. So what is the meaning of, what is the direct meaning of the idiom to make a mountain out of the molehill, guys? Do you remember?
Exaggerate.
Exaggerate, absolutely. So here the mountain.
Am I right? I mean, in Russian language.
So can you please repeat the Russian equivalent?
Like, I mean, like, делать из мухи слона, like something like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In Kazakh, we also have.
Like tüymedeyi de tüydeyi kılıyor.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. So for in Kazakh, for example, the tüye is something huge, right? So this is the thing that was exaggerated. So there was in that very idiom and its equivalents, the meaning is metaphorical. It's not really direct, but it's not that you do not understand it absolutely. That when you're reading it, as it may happen with the once in a blue moon, right? But it has some kind of connection. It has some kind of similarities between a huge mountain and exaggerated thing. Yeah, something that you exaggerated, for instance, the problem or any kind of a case. And a mountain, it's a big thing. And a molehill, it's a it's not as big as a mountain, right? So you are making a mill. It's a huge, not the huge problem, the huge exaggerated thing, and the little thing, the realistic size of the problem. So you know what is metaphor, right, guys? So unities are the, in one word, unities are the idioms that were based on the metaphor. That's it. So the next one, half unities. That is a very interesting one. It is a binary word group. It has double thing. So in that very word group, one of the component is literal, yeah, and the another phrase, another component is somehow logically bound. For instance, the word small talk. Yeah. So what is small talk, guys? You know what is small talk? Small talk.
Like
We are having
talking not so deeply, just surface talking.
kind of. Yet, however, any other. So, what is the difference between small talk and debate?
In debate, you have two contrasting viewpoints, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, two sides kind of try to prove their own point.
Okay. Right.
In
Thank you.
debate,
And
you make an analysis, you make research, and you need to find facts and proof about the team which you will debate. Small talk don't have any improvement, or you don't need to
Maybe it's like maybe asking general questions, something like that. Like, what do you listen? I don't know. What's your favorite music? Something like that.
okay. What about the stylistical features of a small talk and a debate? The stylistical features.
Do you mean like formal or informal, or what?
Not really, but what is the temper when we're doing a small talk and we are participating in a debate? Emotional component.
Like it's
of
very
the
light,
style.
right? I mean, light. It's not something like you're dipping into. You dipping into,
Yeah.
or I mean, you don't feel kind of the pressure. Whereas in debate, for sure, you have to like use your emotions. You have to prove something.
Yeah. So actually, sorry. Yeah,
can
please
I
go.
call it, for example, can I call it free talking? I mean, in a short discussion, or what? Why did you say, teacher? Can you repeat this again? You said
Actually,
difference between debate and what?
and small talk.
So small
okay.
talk, what I as I said, I mean, can I call small talk? It's like free talking. I mean, when you can be more relaxed. I mean, you feeling comfortable when you, I mean, don't be focused and don't be serious. I think.
Okay, guys. So,
Can I
since,
say, like,
yep.
in debate, you have to pick a specific topic, but like in small talk, you don't have to. Also, like in debates, like you have to make thorough revision, you have to practice it, but in small talk, it's just like informal. You don't have to.
Yeah, guys. Actually, the small talk, the culture of small talk, is not much developed. Let's say it's not widespread in our culture. So probably that's the reason we are struggling to define that one. But however, small talk is the talk that you have to accomplish in order to show your polite side. So it's merely about politeness. So during the small talk, you are talking politely without any kind of emotional expressions. Yeah, let's say, and usually it's also about important things, as debate is. However, it's more being quite polite and small talk. For instance, in the very morning. So some of you probably uh, live in one area with strange people, right? Some people students who are living in the dorm, or people who are living in one flat with his or her fellow students. Yeah. So the small talk is about talking or um, paying some time, so not paying some, yeah, paying um, a bit of your time to talk to that person. It's like it's as obligatory as saying good morning or good afternoon and greeting each other in the British culture. So it's actually the British tradition to do the small talks. And it's a thing that here, if you do understand the meaning of that very phrase, it is half unity, because the talk, the phrase talk here, the component talk, isn't changed in the meaning. Yeah, it's literal, whereas small is somehow changed in meaning. Yeah, it's not like small talk, but small talk can be not small. It can be a bit long. However, it means that it's not a discussion. You will not be discussing things, serious problems, as in the debates, or you will not be discussing I don't know, the consequences of some kind of a law that was defended at the parliament. Yeah, so it is something light. Yeah, it is something that will not, the topics of the small talk is referring that the talk will be on a polite tone. It's not going to arouse any negative emotions. Yeah. So small refers not to the length of the conversation, actually. It has a transferred meaning here. It refers to the politeness. Yeah. То есть это имеется в виду то, что разговор сам не будет что-то такое, на такие резкие темы, которые могут затронуть какие-то конфликтные ситуации, rise conflict situations, но больше про вот такой легкий разговор, допустим, про погоду и про что-либо, про завтрак, про что-то там. Yeah. Some of you, if I'm not mistaken, was Sahadat and Laura mentioned that the topics in the discussion or in the debate are quite serious, on a serious topics, let's say, themes, whereas the small talks, in the small talks, we're not discussing anything important, much important. То есть, ну, погода, она тоже может быть important, but it doesn't mean that you will have то, что вы перейдете границы приличия. So you will keep the level of your politeness on a medium level. Yeah, I hope you understood. I hope I could explain it. So this is the half unity. Like small has some kind of idiomatic, oh sorry, not idiom, metaphorical meaning here, and talk has the literal direct meaning here. That is half unity. In unity, it's just a metaphor, direct metaphor, you can say. The half unity is half metaphor, half direct meaning. Yep. Okay, And the phraseological collocations, sorry, these are the again word groups with the where the components have that combinative power, like it has some kind of a combination. You can say it has some valency, and that very combination power is limited somehow. So you can actually do combination, yeah, semantic combination, but it is quite limited. For instance, to make friends, yeah, you can change the word friends with the word lovers, or to make a pie, to make no, not to make a pie. It's a direct thing, direct meaning. Okay, to make friends, to make lovers. What else? What other words, what other nouns can we put instead of friends here? Any ideas, guys?
A bed. Make a bed.
Make a bed. So this is the collocations where the components can be exchanged with something. Yeah. So they have some kind of combinative power. However, you can't. The power is limited. You can't just put any word and derive a new meaning. Yeah. So the same with a bear a grudge. Yeah. I don't know what kind of words you can put instead of a grudge or bear. Depends. Okay. Right. Let's look at the phraseological expressions then. So phraseological expressions, they are proverbs, they are sayings, they are familiar quotations that we're going to talk about, and it's just a part of the phraseological unit. So proverbs, familiar quotations, sayings, they are classified as phraseological expressions. So they are not they are not idioms, but they are the different group of expressions. Okay, what did Marjan write there? First question would be about the quiz. Oh no. Oh, she didn't write it. Okay, so we have the syntactical classification of phraseological units. So, for instance, we have the verbal denoting an action. So, when the verb is denoting the action or denoting the feeling, denoting the conditions. So, that's it, for instance, to run for one's dear life, run for one's life to get the upper hand or to win the upper hand. Here, the is that the verb is denoting the transferred meaning. Yeah? The verb is being it has a verb in the, I mean, it has the verb in its structure, and that very verb is making a huge influence to the meaning. Yeah. So, okay, substantive denoting an object, a person, kind of a living creature, for instance, dog's life, cat and dog's life. So it is when you have nouns here, and it is the idiom itself is denoting the object. It's looking at any kind of a living creature. So everything is going around that very creature. Yeah. Okay, and it's adjectival denoting a quality. Again, it's about the adjective, high and mighty, speak and span. So it's not nothing difficult in here. So some is denoting the verb denoting, object denoting, adjective denoting. adverb denoting, yeah, interjections, prepositions are making the lead in the meaning. So it's just the syntactical
What
changes.
about
The
the
changes in
interjectional? Can you please kind of explain it?
interjectional, as you may see here from the from the example, is about, I don't know how we call them in Russian, это ударай in Kazakh. Interjection is
Right,
called.
междометие, something like that. Like ах,
I,
and
yeah,
etc.
that's it.
Okay.
That's it. I guess so. That's the one. So in Kazakh, it's called odagai, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So when the not metaphor idiom is based on interjections, so it is the interjectional phraseological unit, like by love, by George, my God. Yeah. So my God is not actually, oh my goodness, or my God. What does it refer to? What is the actual transferred meaning here? Guys. Any ideas? So my God is mostly about us being astonished, yeah, mostly about some kind of feelings or anger. When we are terrified, we do use the phraseological unit. But however, if we look at the direct meaning, it has nothing similar, nothing, let's say, feasible, right? We can't see any connection, literal connection to the initial meaning, the phraseological meaning of that very idiom. So that is it. То есть синтактическая классификация — это просто то, что где-то преобладает verb, где-то преобладает объект, не субъект, а объект какой-то. Да? Где-то преобладает прилагательное, где-то преобладает stew, где-то преобладает одагай, а где-то преобладает preposition. I don't know how it's preposition. Предлог. Yeah. I forgot how it is in Kazakh, unfortunately. Can anybody remind me how do we call prepositions in Kazakh? What is the name of preposition in Kazakh? Guys, can you please help me with that? Предлоги. Okay. Never mind, I will have a look at the word. Right, so the very interesting thing that we actually discussed, but I would like to come back to it again. Remember I told you that phraseological units may derive from proverbs, and the proverbs may derive from phraseological units up to, but mainly it is always that phraseological units come from and derive from proverbs. For instance, the last straw, the idiom that we discussed in the very beginning, it came from the proverb, the last straw breaks the camel's back. Yeah, that's interesting. If I'm not mistaken, we have the equivalent of that very proverb in Kazakh. I'm not sure, but I guess I do remember something related to that very meaning in Kazakh. Or to clutch at a straw. So it came from proverb. Drowning man will clutch at a straw. So you see, то есть идиомы, они могут происходить, они могут выходить и происходить из пословиц и поговорок. Lock the stable door. Yeah, it is useless to lock the stable door when the steed is stolen. As you see, this is the thing. A very interesting process that is happening in English language during the development process of English vocabulary. So again, the task is still on you guys for the next seminar. Please find us 3 phraseological units or idioms that derive from proverbs. That would be lovely. So we have to find out the back formation, back formed phraseological units. Okay. Oh wow, phraseological synonyms and antonyms. So we have antonyms and synonyms of idioms, among idioms. То есть у нас есть синонимы, синонимический ряд idiom. Yeah. For instance, up to date, out of date. They are antonyms or synonyms here, guys, by the way.
Antonyms for sure.
Antonyms, yeah. Look back, look right, yeah. Well, look black, sorry. Look right. And here it is to back the wrong house, or to hunt the wrong hare, to get the boot on the wrong foot. These are the synonyms, phraseological synonyms. So we may have many, many idioms. We actually have many idioms. English language is so is very, very much rich for the phraseological units, for the idioms, and you may find the synonyms for among them. Yeah. Or for instance, before the ink is dry, in a twinkle of an eye. Yeah. What does it mean, guys?
In a short period of time.
In a short period of time, absolutely. So it has. There are at least three ways to say that very. To let's say to not pronounce, but to transfer that very meaning in your speech. Yeah. Okay. But however, we may have some kind of a substitutions or some interchangeable words in our idioms, and we should not be misled by them. They are not found as synonyms. They are just the idioms that undergone some lexical and semantical changes by adding or changing some of the words. For instance, God knows, yeah, remember goodness knows, or for instance, oh my God, or oh my goodness, heaven knows, Lord knows. So they are not considered as the synonyms here because only the one word was changed and the meaning itself, actually the whole picture hasn't changed much. So they aren't here the phraseological synonyms. Please do not forget about it when you will be doing the analysis. Okay, familiar quotations. So I think you know about the familiar quotations, what it is. You just face the actually the term of that very thing. So familiar quotations they are not proverbs, they are not idioms, they just came from literature, yeah, and somehow just because people started using them quite often in the language, they become the part of the language. It became the quotations that we can face, we can see, we can find quite often. Yeah, they become familiar, and so familiar quotations are used by so many people. They are just quoting them, and actually not that many people who are using them can accurately say where it came from or what is the context of that very quotation. Yeah. So mainly quotations in English, familiar quotations in English, came from Shakespeare's compositions, Shakespeare's works. That is it. Okay, right. And we have cliches. I guess you do know what is cliche. But actually, the familiar quotations that were used too often, yeah, too often, that they lost their original meaning, the contextual meaning, they are called cliches. So, for instance, just because they, not for instance, no, it's not an example, but I have one more thought. So just because those words, those quotations constantly and somehow mechanically were repeated by the speakers, they just lost their original expressiveness. They lost their original charm and meaning, original contextual meaning. Okay, so let's have a look at this one. So do you guys think these are the cliches or familiar quotations?
Familiar quotations.
Why do you think so?
It's not overused, and it's from Hamlet, Shakespearean work.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't actually hear or see or read these quotations too often, right? Not that too often as the cliches that we're going to look at. Yeah. So these are the cliches. To break the ice, the irony fade, the astronomical figures, the arms of Morpheus. Yeah, these are the cliches. Any ideas what where they come from? What is the origin of them?
Latin.
So where it may come from, the origin of that. I mean, not etymological origin, but the origin where it came from. Yeah. What does in the arm of Morpheus may mean, guys? Yeah. So okay. Do you remember?
Is this from a legend?
Yeah, it's from the. If I'm not mistaken, it's from Greek myths or Latin. I don't know. The ancient myths and tales. And do you remember who was that Morpheus? What kind of god was he or she?
Maybe it's god of the sleeping, because
Absolutely.
people sleep, they go to the Morpheus maybe country, something like that.
Absolutely. So it is the Morpheus was the god of dreams, god of the sleeping, the process of sleeping. So and when people say you are in the arm of Morpheus or the arm of Morpheus, it means that the person is sleeping. Yeah. And we have a drug that is called Morpheus, if you remember. That very drug used to help patients with chronic illnesses, painful illnesses, to who could not sleep, who could not go to sleep, fall asleep, to sleep. So Morpheus, both the god, yeah, and the drug. So you can just use in that very sense. So it actually came from the Greek myths, and nowadays it just became a cliche. don't not that many people do understand where it came from, where it derived from. So the interesting thing, yeah. What about the irony of fate? Irony of fate. We do have that one in our languages as well, right?
Yeah, ironia судьбы.
So what do you think about it? Where did it come from? Irony of fate. Okay, right, guys. That would be lovely if you just have a look also at the origin of these very phraseological units and make a research on their meaning, on their origin, whether they have origins, some kind of a literary background or not, or religious backgrounds or not. So that would be lovely if you do work with them, at home as a home task, and then present it to the class the next time, and we will be discussing it together. Okie dokie, guys. So actually, that is it, which I would like to tell you. Thank you for your active participation. I'm seeing you on seminars, the groups are at 12 o'clock in 10 minutes and at 3 o'clock. So guys, here are the references. I will upload both PPT and the lecture recording to the Moodle. And please, this is my announcement. If you have, please always be updated on the Moodle announcements. I will be announcing some news on the Moodle always. So if I forget to do the announcements at the classes, I will be not telling it, announcing them on the Moodle. То есть всегда, пожалуйста, Moodle'ды тексеріп қарап тұрыңыздаршы. Енді не всегда, но семинарға дайындалардың алдында Moodle'ға қарап жіберсеңіздер болады. Қандай жаңалықтар, қандай не сіздерге қалай айтса болады. Қандай what is announcement in Russian? I don't know, in Kazakh Russian.
Хабарландыру.
Thank you. Хабарландырулар бар. Соны соны көру үшін оповещение, yeah. Соны көру үшін сіздер Moodle'ға кіріңіздер обязательно. То есть Moodle'да бывает то, что я отправляю ресурсы какие-нибудь, где вы можете посмотреть. Будет такое, особенно по стилистике. Потому что по стилистике там уже вам будет больше информации. Так что, пожалуйста, be updated with the Moodle because it's quite crucial. Okay, guys, sorry for my laziness today. I'm having some problems with my throat. I don't know whether I caught a cold or what. I'm not making a lot of pressure on it. So I hope you just understood, acquired everything that was prepared for you. So that would be lovely. If you ask me by writing to my email any questions that you would like to ask me, yeah, so please do not hesitate to ask me. I know sometimes it may take more time for me to answer, especially on weekends. I don't open my email. I just turn off all the notifications. So, пожалуйста, не обижайтесь, если я субботу, воскресенье вам не отвечаю. But on the working days, I'm trying my best to answer to all your emails on time. Если будут какие-то проблемы, потом можете сказать на семинаре, вы көрмей қалдыңыз, маған сұраққа жауап керек еді деп айтсаңыздар болады. Бывает то, что Gmail не оповещает или не показывает ваши письма. I don't know for what reasons. I remember there were 2 students whose mails, whose letters came quite late. Yeah, so I don't know whether it was technical error or what, but they arrived quite late, a week later or 2 weeks later, I don't remember, but it happens. It happens for some reasons. So if you are struggling and if you want me to answer your questions as soon as possible, please let me know. So will you do it? What do you mean? Professor, you haven't assessed our 5th seminar class. Oh, yeah, sure, I do remember. Yeah, guys, I haven't yet done it, but do not worry about it. It will be published this week. It will be published. То есть у меня из-за того, что были lack of... У нас сейчас идет аккредитация, я там работаю тоже с аккредитацией, с документами, and I'm having not that much time for that, or for assessment, unfortunately, but I just promise you the grading, the assessment will be priority for me this week. То есть не бойтесь, будет. Выставлены они. Я знаю, многие там боятся, что они будут выставлены. Нет. I will take it into account. Но насчет хотела бы сказать сегодняшний, ну, то есть про тест, который будет на этой неделе, или как вы говорите, называете midterm, оценки midterm могут довольно-таки много времени занять. Так что, пожалуйста, не обижайтесь, если это займет очень много времени. Да? Может, 2 недели я буду проверять. Все зависит от того, от многих факторов. Okay, so, okay, guys, that was lovely to see you all. That was very interesting to discuss with you. Very broad topic. I wish you to have a lovely day. It is quite sunny outside. Just get as much vitamin D as you can by having some time outside. And please take care of yourselves. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Thank you,
teacher.
Masha. Bye bye. Thank you.